Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Sonic Adventure, sort of DX. In the last part we started off the game, and now we're in Sonic's second stage, Windy Valley, which is pretty straightforward all the same, though they do introduce you to the main concept of homing attack chains in this level. Effectively, you can spam the homing attack with however many targets are in a row with each other. That can allow you to get from platform to platform, or if you're good about doing it, you can also use it to skip certain parts of level design on top of using the spin dash jumps I was talking about last time. With that said, from my memory, I believe Windy Valley is the level that changed the most across the game's development, as there is a version of this level that we have playable via trade show demos that's a lot more flat, open-ended, with a lot more slopes for you to use your physics to get around and all that, whereas here in the final release, it's very linear, set-piecey with things like this tornado sequence that are ultimately just a very short vertical section of level design and all that. But that said, this is one of my favorite levels in the game to just go fast in. So I call this sort of DX. I mentioned the last time that this playthrough is modded. Let's talk about the mods I'm using and how you can use them. I'm using every main mod that's available by default with the Sonic Adventure Mod Manager, which works with Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. In specific, I'm using Sonic Freak 94 Smooth Camera Mod, the Frame Limit Mod by Sonic Freak 94, the Onion Skin Blur from Sonic Freak 94, the Idle Chatter Mod from Sonic Freak 94, which basically will never come into play, the Steam Achievements Mod by Main Memory, the Lantern Engine by X-Hacks, the Dreamcast Conversion by PKR, the SADX Style Water from PKR and Steg, the Sound Overhaul from PKR and Reverie Pass, the Time of Day by PKR, even though that won't really come into play unless you're doing post-game stuff, Dreamcast Character Conversion from It's Easy Actually, and the HD GUI 2 by X-Hacks and others. Barring the camera one, by and large those are all visual mods. None of them actively impact the gameplay too much, if at all really. Which is the thing I like to do with mods on this channel. Unless it's just a fan translation or restoring the original difficulty that was in a Japanese release. Visual mods are the only ones I like to use, and even then I seldom do that. The GameCube release, which is the version you can find on basically all marketplaces nowadays due to ports, has some higher quality elements to it that are present in this particular playthrough, some. But frequent criticisms of it are the main character models are very shiny and waxy feeling, and also just feel like they animate worse. But also, there's just some outright textures and lighting differences that ultimately make it feel very phoned in, I guess is the way I can put it. I don't do mods too often on this channel to begin with, so I'm ultimately fine with just doing visual. Oh my god, Tails. Personal space, buddy. Holy moly, I was having a conversation there. That last section there, when you're going across those bridges in the sky, there's some weird times where the camera can sort of steal control from you during those, where you'll kind of shift to a side. But even then, if you fight that, you're not in that much danger, as the guardrails on the paths do a pretty good job of preventing you from falling off.
The train headed for Station Square will be departing soon.
That's actually a hint right there of sorts. What's with the big gusts of wind inside that cave? Guess I'll call it Windy Cave. Whenever you hear the train announcement system go off like that, that means one of two things. Either your next plot destination's in the other half of the world between Mystic Ruins and Station Square, or you can just head back there in case you were blocked off beforehand due to story reasons. We're the exploration party searching the ruins. Of course, we missed the city. Looking for something, you should probably go to the city. You can find just about anything you want there. The NPC dialogue also does a good job of hinting where you should go, but if you're ever really stuck, the red fairy we saw on the levels you can also find in basically every single screen of the overworlds, and they will outwardly tell you where you should go next in much more direct text. I go to the casino every night. The lights are pretty pretty at night. Hey, it's Sonic! Is it true you saved the entire world? What's happening with Angel Island? Is Angel Island involved? Guess we'll see if we can find Knuckles and talk to him about that at some point. My husband's an adventurer. When he leaves home, you never know when he'll be back. He's probably at the Mystic Ruins looking for old relics. Maybe you've met him? I don't even think you can access the map where that guy technically is yet. I'm waiting for my dad. Hope he comes back soon. Is he gonna stay at the office again? Been there, kid. Been there. Wow, it's so much bigger than my hometown. Talk about culture shock. They're going inside. I hate sunsets. Just the opposite here. I much prefer it when it's darker, and I love the latter half of the year when it gets darker earlier. I own this building. Well, I'm not sure about this, but kids love to go on little treasure hunts. Once my son found a pair of weird shoes in the sewer. Told him to put them back, and he ran outside. Weird shoes in the sewer, huh? That sounds like it might be worth investigating. And even though there's nothing to actually do over here, you can head into the hotel and get some updates on situations over here. I really like these little storylines they have littered across the two sets of homeworlds in the game. They're not very deep, but it makes the world feel like it's progressing even while the story goes on in a way that I feel a lot of other games don't really do, because sometimes I feel when the story's going on in a lot of games, the world itself almost sort of pauses. Like, the biggest example I can think of is, say, a lot of Zelda games, where a lot of the major towns, like, 1 or 2 NPCs will change their dialogue as you go through, but for the most part, it's going to be the same dialogue the entire game. A lot of RPGs do that, barring, like, once or twice per game as well. The only RPG series I can think of that changes up dialogue that regularly is Trails. But most oh my god. Sonic! Somebody call a doctor! You ever get a feeling that something really bad just happened in an alternate universe? Huh. Weird. So Station Square is broken up into 4 smaller maps. There's the front of the train station, the hotel where we've been a couple times already, but we've also been over here in this corner as well, because over there in the distance is actually where we fought Chaos Zero, technically. And this NPC has a bit of a fun story in specific. Oh, my heart's breaking. I thought it would just be enough to stare at him from a distance, but I can't go on like this. I'd love to get to know the burger shop guy. Well, let's go see if we can talk to him and get the emblem that's in his shop as well. Look here right now, I feel like someone's staring at me. What could it be? I don't get that feeling too often, but I know it well, and I don't like it. So you may notice there's an obvious hole here for a sewer, and we had that one guy talking about sewers earlier, so let's hop down here and see what we can find. If you jump up here with Sonic, you can find yourself over here and get our first power-up.
Now you've got Lightspeed shoes. Press and hold the action button to store up power. Once you have enough power, release the button and you can do the Lightspeed Dash. The Lightspeed Dash lets you race toward rings at light speed. As long as there's a trail of rings, you can go just about anywhere.
A very defining trait of the 2.5-ish Sonic Adventure games that exist is that you actually get upgrades for your characters as you go through that add moves to their arsenal. For instance, with Sonic, you can now hold down the spin dash button to build up a Lightspeed charge, and you can then follow a trail of rings to reach platforms you couldn't before. It's a little awkward to use because you have to hold down the spin dash button for a little too long, though they did change that in later games. I set a new record, I got so close this time. Oh my, I'm totally in love. You've not even talked to the person yet, seemingly. I've got a feeling like someone's staring at me. It's not going away, what could it be? Run. But yeah, in later games, they've changed the Lightspeed Dash to just be pressing the button when you have the ability to use it next to a path of rings, instead of having to charge it up, which I think ultimately is for the better. I own this building. I'm not sure about this, but I heard a rumor that the casino has a new pinball machine. It's called Nights into Dreams. I want to play too. Oh, I love that game. Let's go play it. Shower's so cute. Have you seen them yet? You can see them in the hotel lobby. They're so sweet. Twinkle Park's cool, but Casinopolis sounds more fun. Oh, I just can't decide where to go first. Well, you don't got many options. Station Square is pretty small for a fast hedgehog to begin with, but it's not that large even for a vacation destination to begin with. I told her it's late, go home, but she won't listen. I just hope she doesn't make her parents worry. Dad. Seemingly she's more worried about her parents than vice versa at the moment, dude. As for our next destination, it's actually technically in the same area I'm in right now, as there's a staircase off towards the right side of the screen right now that goes downstairs to another portion near the casino. But I want to go up here and talk to this guy first. Working late with no overtime. World's so cool. Oh, customer, I'm sorry. Station Square Central. This train's heading to Mystic Ruins. Sounds like working conditions really suck here. Damn. I mean, I guess it is a vacation destination. That's, unfortunately very common at those from my own life experience. I'm the hotel manager. Call me if you need anything. By the way, check out that door to the left. You want to go to the casino. Take your time and enjoy yourself. So go over there. You can go to the casino. But I want to go up these stairs right now because you got 2 switches up here. One makes a trail of rings appear. The other makes a door open in the distance so you can see another power-up over there. This one's completely optional, but I recommend getting it all the same.
This is the Crystal Ring. This reduces the time needed to store power for the Lightspeed Dash.
Pretty straightforward. It reduces the speed that it takes to charge up. You still need to charge it, but it cuts the time down by at least half. I'm actually not sure the exact measurements of time on that, though. Future me will have to probably say something about that. But you don't need this to beat the game. You just need the Lightspeed Dash, as we need that to access Casinopolis over here. Neon lights, great music, this is the casino everyone's been talking about. Huh, wonder what's that switch over the sign. I always get the urge to press things like that. And indeed, there is a switch up there. And if we check out this monitor, Casinopolis is open, but the only way in is closed. Sorry, so is it really open then? Press that switch, a trail of rings appear, Lightspeed Dash up there, and Casinopolis is open. And this is probably Sonic's most unique level in its structure. Our goal is to just get the Chaos Emerald, but in order to do that, we need to do something a little atypical compared to the other levels. And well, let's just say there's a reason they brought up Nights into Dreams earlier, but there's also this pinball table over here. Let's check with this monitor. This is the vault. Jump on the switch to deposit your rings. The Chaos Emerald is high up in the vault.
Try and deposit as many rings as you can. It may even help show you the way.
Whenever you get rings, you can deposit them into that vault to get to the Chaos Emerald. With that said, you can't skip to it at all. There's an invisible wall blocking the way until you have 400 rings deposited. And there are several ways to get rings, the most efficient of which is just homing attacking the slot machines over and over again. I think they can technically drop infinite rings, but it's only like 7 or so at a time. Not really worth it. The main ways are using the pinball tables, and you got some actual pinball physics here, albeit Sonic himself likes to get stuck on collision here as well. Each one of these pinball tables has their own unique mechanics going on. For instance, this one has pipes you can go up to get those item capsules on the left or right side of the screen. You can also use the analog stick to shake the machine in a certain direction, try to get certain things. But if you go up that pipe in the distance, you roll a general slot machine, and there are several icons there, and getting matches in several things can do several different effects. For instance, getting 3 rings will give you 15 rings, and then a 30-second multiplier on the rings you get for that little next section. Getting 3 Sonics gives you 50 rings and a 99-second ring multiplier. 3 Tails is 15 rings, and then it blocks the hole between the flippers for about 45 seconds or so, I think. Which prevents you from falling down, at the middle at least. You can still fall down the far left or right sides, as unlikely as that is. 3 Knuckles is 30 rings and 80 seconds of a ring multiplier. 3 Amy's, using her Sonic CD design, is 50 rings and a minute-long multiplier. Getting an Eggman, though, that's bad. It's either you lose 100 or all of your rings, depending on whichever number of the two is higher, and then it blocks the pipe up there for about a minute. With that said, the most efficient way to get money in this is to technically use the pinball machines, and it's to actively fail them, as there is a section of level design in this stage you can only access if you fail a pinball table with less than 100 rings stocked up on the top left of the screen. It's the most efficient way to do so, and here it is. It's just a sewer down here. There's a lot of opportunities for you to use the light speed dash around here. There's item capsules up here and everything. You can get, I think, easily 200 rings if you're good about getting all the ring capsules along the way here, depending on your path as well. That'll just help you accelerate towards your end goal. This is the fastest way to do this. It's just that it's a little monotonous to do this as the only thing to do around here, but at the same time, technically, so is doing the pinball machines. Also, I love every song in this level. This game's soundtrack kicks ass to begin with, but the jazziness and the big band nature that this particular stage has is just so good. I don't mind the idea of this level's mechanic as Sonic. I just don't think it should have been the Sonic mechanic, if that makes sense. I think they should have maybe just done a little more linear level design for him to go through in this level and had it be that. I think there's another character in this game who should have had this level in their repertoire, so to speak, and just have the ring gathering thing be their stage. And it's not any of the characters that get to go to this stage to begin with, before anyone asks. I'll save who I mean for their own campaign, as well as my thoughts on what they do with level variety in this game to begin with from here and again. Also, it's a very minor thing, but I love jumping with the light speed dash charged up as Sonic in this game, because when viewed from the side, he looks like he's the Screw Attack logo from both ScrewAttack.com technically, but also, you know, Metroid. And welcome to the showers, where you can shower as Sonic. Neat, I guess. Notably, you actually can't move out of this animation once you start it. You need to actually have it finished, which takes a surprisingly long time for what the animation itself is. Unnecessary element? Yeah, but I'm assuming they're probably there because they thought it was funny. Which, hey, when I first played the game and saw that, I did laugh, so mission accomplished, I guess. Now, something I don't remember. I seldom die in this level because the only place you can die in it is the sewer. I don't remember if you lose the rings you have deposited when you die. I'm gonna need to test that and come back to you on that in post-commentary stuff like this stuff I put up on screen. Now, a neat little Easter egg this stage has that we're going to see a little bit of a hint of coming up here is that the more rings you actually deposit, they slowly start building a golden statue of Sonic, and right there in the distance you can actually see his feet. You get the feet built for depositing 200 rings. At 1,000, it's the lower body and legs as well. 2,500, it's up to the neck effectively, and at 5,000 rings the head is built. That would take way too long. for my tastes to actually get done, so I'm not showing it off in that regard, but we still get to see the model of the statue down the line, and that's all I'll say about that. Welcome to the Nights into Dream pinball stage, though. This one works a little differently. Instead of getting slot machine reels to determine your rewards outside of getting rings from just hitting things in the pinball machine to begin with, instead you're collecting cards. The cards are marked on the far right side of the screen, and whichever combos of cards you get determine your rewards. Namely, if you get 2 of the same cards, you get a 1 pair, which is 10 rings. If you get 2 of the same cards twice in a set of 5, you get a 2 pair, which is 20. If you get 3 of the same card, you get 3 of a kind, which is 30 rings. If you get 3 of the same cards, then 2 of the same cards, you get a full house, which is 50. If you get 4 of the same cards in a single hand, you get 4 of a kind, which is 70. And if you get 5 different cards, it is a straight, that is 100 rings. It's very random, though, because the cards do spawn in completely randomly across the 3 locations. When you grab one, you never know what's going to show up otherwise, so it is luck of the draw in that regard. So it's not very reliable, but I do like coming here because I get to hear Nights music, and I really love Nights' OST. If you come up here, though, we got a secondary area where there's actually a secondary minigame you can play on top of all sorts of cards. Up here, there's a secondary minigame on top of the cards, though, and that's namely if you grab one of the blue chip cards and then use the bumpers and the flippers to hit the idea capture unit up there from Nights into Dreams. You can actually get an idea, which is a very important thing to Nights, and if you get a set of 5 of those, you get a 500 ring bonus. Which is way more effort than it's worth, but it's cool that it's here all the same. I like this area a lot. I like that they have little animations if you go too far up or when you fail in here that actively send you through a miniature version of a Nights level. It's a lot of love for a game that at the time was very underappreciated, but has thankfully gotten a good amount of love since. Albeit it also got the Wii sequel, which is, lesser. I'm not going to say it's bad, but it's definitely just not as interesting. It helps that it's so much the same, even with the new mechanics, if that makes sense. I'll talk about that more, though, whenever I get to Nights. If there's a way to summarize this level on the whole for getting rings, it's either you do it the really slow way using the slot machines, the random kind of slow way using the Sonic pinball machine, the slightly longer, cooler looking, but still random way here with the Nights pinball machine. Or you just go for the guaranteed rings in the sewer section that you can do multiple times in a single run. In fact, I think when you're doing the post-game missions that I'll talk more about in depth after the Sonic campaign, it's the fastest way to actually do all of them is to just do the sewer over and over again, I believe. The added bad part about this specific pinball board, though, is that you do have to watch yourself fly through the Nights levels if you either do too well in the bonus sections a lot, or if you even fail here in the main section. And in that regard, it can take a while for this particular pinball board to end. I remember when I first saw Let's Plays of this game, I actually didn't know this board existed. So when I actually saw it myself, I was like, wait, what? What? Because everyone does the sewer section on the whole. I guess I can finally get into that as well, actually thinking about it. My history with Sonic Adventure is a lot shorter than most people's. I didn't play this until around the turn of the 2010s. Growing up, my 3D Sonic games on consoles were Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog on PS2, which explains why I have very negative opinions of both in my memory. The first one I really liked was probably Unleashed and Black Knight. I didn't play these until their PS3 HD re-releases, though I do own both on GameCube now. And if I ever get a Dreamcast, I'll see if I can track down the Dreamcast copies as well. Because I came to both adventure games so late, though, I don't exactly have a nostalgic connection to either of them. Because of that, though, I end up seeing them both for their pros and their cons, because I think they both have a very interesting set of both that are radically opposite of each other in a lot of regards. But I'll talk more about my opinions between the two games as we get to the credits of this one and whenever I get to Adventure 2. Yes! That's Casinopolis. That stage can take a while. Even if you do the speedier method using the sewers, it's not a very interesting level, but I appreciate the effort to have something unique for a level for Sonic compared to the other ones he does.
steal the Chaos Emerald!
Oh, no, you don't!
Oh, jeez! Amen.
Oh, man. What happened to that emerald we just had?
I guess Eggman's got one of them. But the other one's safe. That guy must be desperate.
That means his 2 to our 1, and that's not good. Come on, Sonic! We need to get busy!
Sonic also needing to have basic math explained to him.
The train headed for the Mystic River.
So, at the start of that whole set of cutscenes, we saw that blue gem drop down over in the alley. On a first playthrough, I couldn't figure out where that alley actually was. It's in this exact area. It's over to my right now. Though they actually do a little better at guiding you into that in Sonic Adventure DX, as DX actually adds cameos by the character Cream the Rabbit at a couple of points. Namely, she flies through the sky at this exact point in that area and kind of leads you towards where that alley is. Bit weird they did that, but at the same time I appreciate it. Cream can be a fun character, kind of underutilized honestly, but then again, so was most of the cast during the 2010s. Now, I go around and talk to the NPCs throughout the LP on all stories anyway, but if there's something I do recommend, it's going out of your way to go talk to a specific NPC in front of the Station Square station right now. We got this big purple guy over here. That's completely outrageous. That guy has another date today. This guy?
Froggy, where are you?
Meet Big the Cat, the most controversial part of this game. He has his own playable story we'll be doing down the line, but if you talk to him here, you actively unlock him a little earlier. Otherwise, you'd have to wait until the Tails storyline, I believe, to unlock him properly. At least I recall that being the case. And the same applies to any other character campaign. Say you unlock, say, Tails' campaign, and you immediately go to play as him instead of continuing as Sonic. If you run into other playable characters as Tails, they will unlock from that campaign as well. Finally, I'm inside the shop. Now what do I do? I'm so nervous, my heart's pounding. Ugh, just not the look. I feel children down my spine. Alright, lady, here's what you do. Order a burger. And from that, my plans run out, so that's when you're in panic mode. Good luck. Okay, so back near Casinopolis, here's the Ice Stone. Looks like a key. Maybe we can use it in the Mystic Ruins? Yes, we can. In fact, if we go back to the Mystic Ruins, the place we can actually use this key will unlock. Once my work's done, I'm going snowboarding. It's a great feeling going down a mountain. Wonder if that's going to be relevant to anything coming up relatively soon. Also, whenever you're carrying something as a character in this game, that's when the collision gets really weird, by the way. Oh, a customer. I'm sorry. My mind was somewhere else. You need a break, buddy. And thus we can go to where we can now use the Ice Stone. Why did that cave explode? We'll find out. Part of the mountain has collapsed and revealed what looks to be an entrance. No. If memory serves, when I first played the game, I tried to spin dash jump into the entrance up there, which I think you could technically do, but you can just jump on the rocks and you'll be completely fine. Some of the angles you can jump on in this game and walk on look a little awkward, but they'll ultimately usually work out for you. Especially if you have a running start, you can walk up a lot of slopes in the game. Helps that when you're carrying things, your jumping just feels kind of stiff, so it just feels like you shouldn't be able to make those jumps, but no, you can just fine.
The train headed for stations.
The rocks will reveal an entrance to a cave. The soil seems to be a lot like the soil from Mystic Ruins. Interesting. And right past here, we have ourselves a door with the snowflake. We got a key with a snowflake on a panel that has a snowflake. So call it a hunch, it's going to open this. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 3, we're entering Sonic's next stage, which is a good old reference to Sonic 3 and Knuckles. See you guys then.